Well, Zaza and I this year in curating the program, we thought a lot about dreaming, because in order to create the change we want to see in the world, we need to dream ourselves to see the future that we want. And you, our kids, children in the audience, you are our future, and we are so glad that we were able to show this amazing program to you all today. So yeah, here are our filmmakers. Give them a big round of applause. Would you care to introduce yourselves to the audience for us?
My name is Justine Samson, and I created Street Dog or Ascal.
I'm Jessica Wu, the director of Sports Day.
Hi, I'm Yuta Yamaguchi. I was director of The Hungry Storyteller.
Amazing. So, in the theme of dreams and visions, when did the vision for your films come to be, and how did that come to be?
So my film was inspired by my relationship with my grandmother who passed, but previously before, during the summer, I went to the Philippines and I got very inspired to create my story of like the stray dog and the convenience store owner.
My film was basically inspired by the sports day I would had when I was in elementary school in Taiwan. And this film is dedicated to my mom and describing my relationships with her, including the curry that she would make all the time. So yeah, I hope you had fun watching it.
My film was inspired by my son, who's in the film. When he was about 3 years old, he started wanting to tell that story to everybody he could get a chance to tell. And I thought, this precious moment isn't going to last forever, so I wanted to capture it. And my wife and I always got a crack out of the twist at the end, so we wanted to make sure to capture that moment.
So what message or feeling do you hope viewers take away from your film, especially these younger audience members?
One thing I really wanted for whoever watches film to feel is the joy and the closeness with you and your family members, and maybe remind you of the lovely memories you've had with your loved ones, because that's why I really wanted to make it. I wanted to make something happy, joyous, and brings you energy, and maybe makes you want to you're probably too young for this, maybe text your mom or have a FaceTime with her. Yeah, I hope you cherish the memories with your loved ones more, cherish your time together, and feel the joy more.
Sorry, what was the question again?
What message do you hope these audience members can take away?
Oh, okay. Sort of the message of the film was, I made the film for my son, to sort of remind him that he's sort of like a natural storyteller, and that's kind of like human, characteristic that we all have. I also kind of made it for myself, for my future self, to remind me to pay attention and give my son attention. So that's sort of the audience, and if the audience that watches this can, be reminded that if you have a story you want to tell your family, you should just tell it, even if it doesn't, make sense, or it's kind of out there. So.
So my story was for my grandma specifically, and the message that I wanted to spread was cherish your relationships with your family and your friends, and also spread kindness.
What was everyone's favorite part of making your film?
My favorite part was the scene where the dog was trying to pick up the chip bag and kept failing over and over again.
My favorite part to animate was the dance party at the end. I had a lot of fun thinking of the steps and filming references with my roommates at the time. So yeah, I hope you feel the joy as well you watch it.
My favorite part was the raccoon when he says instead of a cocoon. That gets me every time.
we're going to open up to the audience. Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, all the way in the back.
Well, thank you all. I enjoyed all of your films, but especially Sports Day really resonated with me. I felt like I could connect with, this is different than actually doing sports, but my sisters and I would wake up and play Disney golf. And I feel like some of the zoomed out versions of the track and stuff are like the maps in video games. So I wonder if you were inspired at all by video games.
I was inspired, yes, by video games I played growing up, and also I'm terribly at sports, so don't worry. But heavily inspired by sports and by the manga that I like to read, and I really wanted to focus on less like the actual environment, but like the more design, the composition of the whole layout of each shots. So yeah, I'm glad you felt that video game and design. I'm glad you like the film. Thank you.
Along those lines, were any of you also inspired by other animated films or like animated media you consumed growing up?
I was inspired by, there's this Pixar short film called Kid Bull, which is like a relationship between a kitten and a pit bull, and like, yeah, that just sparked, my film.
For like the drawing style, I just referenced my son's drawing as like a reference, so there's not like an animator that was inspired. It's mostly him and then just Googling different styles.
Well, I think not like inspired by a specific like animated films, but I did go through a lot of like poster designs or graphic designs, and I was heavily inspired by that.
I'll just make a comment. Can I just make a comment?
Yes, of course.
As a Filipino American, you did a very good job of capturing kapwa, or the idea of community, in your film. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you, my fellow Filipino.
What would you say was the most difficult part to animate, but not only to animate, but part of the creation process for each of your films?
For me, that would be the pre-production process. It was really hard developing the idea I wanted and the message I wanted to give for my grandma. It was like I had to do so many iterations. Yeah.
I think the most difficult part for me was during one process of the film. Every person's relationship with their parents are obviously complex. I feel like I was kind of focusing on the conflicts and all of the quarrels that we had throughout the years, but I realized that wasn't the message I wanted to tell, because in the end, I cherish my relationship with my mom really much. So I completely changed the storyboards and added the dance party, and I think that was the difficult part for me.
In terms of animation, I didn't actually animate it. I worked with a friend of mine who's an art director, so the animation wasn't difficult, but I guess working with a 3-year-old, I had very limited attention span, so I was lucky enough that he only did like 3 takes, but the second take was like completely good, so I thought that was going to be difficult, but it's a lot easier than I thought.
Any more questions out there from parents as well? Oh, yes, right here.
So, what advice do you have for the kids in the audience, or the young storytellers, to grow their ability to tell stories, and so that they're able to make things like this when they're older or even now?
Yeah, so for the little kids out here, just express your freedom and creativity in so many ways. You guys are very young. Just create, have fun. There's no rules, and just do whatever you want, but also listen to your parents.
I think my advice would to just find something that you're passionate about. It doesn't have to like a movie. It can be like manga. It can be like anime. Just find that what you love, and in the end, that you start once you create it if you want to. And as she said, there's no rules, and just have fun with it. That would be my biggest advice.
Yeah, I would go the same line. Find something you're passionate about, that you care about, and then try to find your audience, and try to make it uniquely yours, however strangely it is. Yeah, just share it with as many people as you can.
All right. Amazing. Thank you all for being here this Saturday morning with us. You as well. The film festival is here until next Saturday, so please feel free to join us for more amazing films, Asian cinema, and yeah.
Thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed the Shorts program, and thank you again to our wonderful directors.
Give another round of applause.